All right, we're going to start this. We're going to go over this review really quickly. I'm going to call some people to kind of help us answer this. Justin, could you read the first one for us and tell us the right answer?
The sum of measure of the angles in every triangle is G 180.
G 180 degrees. I agree with that 100%. I'm going to cross out G. Even though in the directions it says a letter may be used more than once. One key thing that I want you guys to do on your test is read the directions. Okay? There were so many people that were circling, they were doing things with angles when I was asking for sides. They were doing stuff with they were writing down just weird stuff that didn't even make sense for what the directions said. Read the directions and make sure it makes sense. Number 2, let's go with Sierra. Sierra, read number 2 for us. Answer it for us.
If a triangle is isosceles, then its face angles are A, congruent.
A, congruent. So basically, if you want to, you can draw a picture based on this. If it's an isosceles triangle, that means this. Then, all of a sudden, we know these angles are also congruent as well. Okay? Number 3, Tyler Cox. Read number 3 and answer it for us.
If a triangle has two congruent angles, then it is a C.
C, isosceles triangle. Okay? 2 or more congruent angles makes an isosceles triangle. That makes sense to me. Number 4, Lauren. Okay. You want to read it, and maybe you can answer it yourself. We'll give it our best shot, okay? It's not less than, it has to be F greater than. Okay? Here's what this means. If you have the smallest side and the second smallest side, that just has to be greater than the largest side. Okay? So for instance, there's a question later on that says, hey, if we have 10 and we have 11 and we have 21, can that be a triangle? Well, it can be, because 10 plus 11 is 21, and 21 would be greater than 20. So that could be a triangle. That's all we're saying. The lengths of any two sides of a triangle has to be greater than the third side, so the sum of them. Thanks. Number 5, let's go with Connie.
In a triangle, if one side is longer than the other side, and the opposite the longer side is less than the opposite.
Actually, it's greater than. Okay. So the idea here is that if you have a triangle, basically what's saying this is the longest side, it's going to be across from the biggest angle. Okay? It's always across from the biggest angle, so anything else is going to be smaller than that. So the idea here is that the largest side is going to be greater than, or the greatest angle is going to be bigger. Wow. The largest angle is going to be greater than anyone that's smaller than that. I guess that's what it's saying. I don't know how to say that out loud, apparently. Number 6, Rashad, can you read that one for us?
The measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measure of the remote interior angles.
Yeah, the interior angles. Remote just means away from. So again, this is, if you have this picture that looks like this, that's kind of a dumb picture. Let me draw it a little bit bigger. If we have a picture that looks like this, then we have an angle. This is angle 1, this is angle 2, this is angle 3. Outside angle 4. Remember, this means 1 plus 2 equals 4. I know it sounds really funny mathematically, but 1 plus 2 equals 4. The reason I keep saying that out loud is because it does sound funny, and usually funny things stick in people's heads.
Oh, that's kind of deep.
1 plus 2 equals 4?
That's what I mean.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Hannah, find the missing angle. Can you show your work on A? What would we do here?
You would make 60 3 plus 42 plus A equals 180.
Yeah, so we're just basically adding these 3 things up equals 180 degrees. That's basically the definition of a triangle sum. Triangle sum there says that if you have a triangle, you just add all 3 sides up. And you're good. What are these 2 equal?
105.
This equals 105, so we have 105 plus A equals 180. So we subtract 105 from both sides. And A would equal 75 degrees. Okay? When it says to show all your work or show work, I need to see all this. Okay? Some people will leave this completely blank and they'll write something like 70 degrees up there. Okay? If they write 70, is that right or wrong? Okay, it's wrong. Did they show any work? Well, if they showed no work, can I give them any points whatsoever? No, they just said 70. I have no idea where 70 even would have come from. So the idea is this is just 75. I will give 1 point for just 75 degrees for this right now. On the test, it would probably be 2 or 3 points. Yes, sir.
What if when they showed the work, they just said 42 plus 63 and then 180 minus 105?
That's okay, but I think if they really want to be a good student, they'd probably do it this way, because this is going to make more sense later on. They're doing stuff that makes sense, but it's going to be a lot more fluid if they were to do it this way.
So that was worth 2 points.
It's only worth 1 point for the 75. But if it's on a test, it'd be worth 2 or 3. Basically, 2 points for showing your work, 1 point for the actual answer. Is usually how that would work on a test. And if you don't show anything and you get it wrong, you get like no points. If you get it right, I still take 2 points off because you didn't show any work. Okay? I just want you to know how I'm giving points out so you can get the best points possible. Okay. Silas, part B.
45.
There's probably a better way of doing this. What does this mean? That means 90 degrees, right? And basically, we have the 1 plus 2 equals 4 business. Okay, how would we set that up, Silas? Knowing what you know, not what the paper says, but knowing what you know, how could you set this up? 1 plus 2 equals 4.
1 plus 2 doubles.
You got 90 plus B has to equal 135 is right. That's the thing on the outside. What do we do now? Yeah, we'll subtract 90 from both sides. What does B equal? Yeah, B still equals 45. They got the right answer. They just did twice as much work, which is, I guess, it's fine. But honestly, I'd rather people did the right amount of work. So B is worth 1 point as well. How many points are on the first page?
No.
There's 8 of them. It helps you to add things up if you just write either how many they got right or how many they got wrong at the bottom of the page. I would probably write 8 out of 8 at the bottom if they got all of them right, something like that.
So what?
I'm just looking for answers right now. Okay. All right, we're on the next page.
Yes.
And I'm looking for Tucker to help us out here. Tucker, what do we do?
Well, the person had.
Well, what do we do? I don't care what they put down. I want you to tell me what we do.
Got this person.
You didn't know what to do.
I
Okay.
do.
If this says 120, is this also 120?
Yes.
Yeah, why? They're vertical angles. Perfect. Okay. Now it looks like we have 3 angles that are on the inside of a triangle. We need to solve for one of them. Can we do that? How do we do that?
Add 120 and 37.
I'm going to add all 3 of them together because what the best students will do. What will that equal?
157.
It'll equal 180. Yep. Okay. When you add these 2 together, you get 157. How do you solve for x then?
Subtract 157.
Subtract 157. Again, this is what the best students will do. Is they'll actually set up an equation and solve the equation. Right? That's really what I'm expecting you guys to move to. What does x equal?
No, 23.
23. Okay. I'll give 1 point for 23. X equals 23 or 23 degrees would probably be a better answer here. Okay. Any questions on that? If there's anything you have questions on as we're going along, make sure to ask. Except for you, you can't ask. So whatever. Sam,
Yes.
number 9, reinforce, please.
What's on the paper is 2x plus 1.5.
I'm sorry, read the problem for us.
Oh, find the angle D.
The measure of angle D, yeah, that's what it says. Measure of angle D.
Show all work and simply final answer.
Awesome. Sam, if these 2 sides are congruent, what type of triangle are we dealing with?
And isosceles.
An isosceles triangle, okay? If these 2 sides are congruent, what can I tell you about the angles? Sam?
That they're congruent.
Yeah, so D and F, which are called base angles, are also congruent.
Right.
If I'm trying to figure out this one, like if that one's X,
And
this one's also X, right? how do I set up an equation to solve then if I've labeled 3 angles on the inside of the triangle?
2x plus 125.
Yeah, so you basically add all 3 angles up, it equals 180. As he said, 2x plus 125.
Minus 125 on both sides.
Subtracting 125 from both sides. 2x equals what?
Huh? 2x equals 55.
Okay, and then I divide both sides by 2. What does x equal?
27.5.
27.5. Is that what it asked me to figure out?
No.
It said it wanted the measure of angle D, so I'm just going to write this. The measure of angle D equals. That's where I'm going to put my answer. Okay? I was solving for x in my equation, but x was the same thing as the measure of angle D, so that's fine. Justin. No, it's not. They're finding the measure of angle D is kind of what they're finding. So I'm going to be kind of lenient on this. So generally speaking, if it asks you to find the measure of angle D, that's what your final answer should say is the measure of angle D. We're still kind of learning. We're practicing, so we'll know what to do later on. Thank you. Mitchell, number 10. Okay. Mitchell, what do we know about this triangle? It's a right triangle. These 2 angles are congruent, correct? Okay, so what does that tell us about the sides? Yeah, this makes this an isosceles triangle as well. What did it tell us in the original problem? So whenever it tells me stuff in the problem, there's a picture up there. Label the picture. Okay? So now I'm trying to figure out how long this is. How long is this? 12 millimeters. Is there really any work to show? Except for labeling the picture, there's no work to show. That's why I want you to label the picture. Okay? It also helps you in case it's a 2 or 3 step problem that you can kind of move from there. Kind of making sense? Okay. All right. 12 millimeters. If they didn't have millimeters, write it in. Do not mark it wrong, but write it in. Talamancuso. Yes. Number 11. Can you read it for us?
Yeah. Find the perimeter triangle GHI. Show all work and circle the triangles.
Okay. So if we know these 2 angles are congruent, what 2 sides are congruent? GH and what else? Yep. So how long is this side? 5 feet. Okay. How do I find the perimeter of something? Add them together, so that's 5 plus 5 plus 9. 5 plus 5 plus 9. 19. And what would my units be, Tyler? And we're just going to say feet because perimeter is just going to be one-dimensional. It's just a length. So 19 feet. If they didn't have feet, write it in. Otherwise,
What? Hold on.
so the answer is 19. Best answer is 19 feet. I didn't erase it. Morgan, number 12. Read it for us, please.
You mean Carrington?
I'm sorry. Carrington. I'm really sorry.
Okay. Find x given that q, the angle q is equal to partial like circular.
Okay. So what do we do? Something? That's right. We do something. It does tell us this. So I'm going to label my picture. Okay. If those 2 angles are congruent, what else is congruent?
Sides.
Sides. Thanks, Carrington. So those 2 sides are congruent. That means physically these things are also equal. So all we need to do is set them equal to each other. 3x plus 3 equals 39. Okay? And it's because of the stuff that it gave us that we can see that. How do we solve for x? Carrington. From both sides. Yep. Subtract 3 from both sides. That gives us 3x equals 36. Then what, Carrington? Yep. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 12. It says find x. Well, there's x. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to plug it in. I don't have to figure out anything else. Because that's 39. That's also going to be 39, so I should be set.
I'll raise the distance.
Okay. There's a point per problem, so however many points that is, I guess take care of that on the page. Holy smokes. Here,
I got this.
God. This is where it goes.
number 13. I would really like Claire to do number 13 for us, please.
Um,
Can you read it for us, please?
two sides of a triangle are 6 inches and 14 inches. Find an angle across the inches.
Okay.
And 20 and
Okay, so basically over here, the less than part, I'm going to subtract them. So that's going to be 8 over here. This side over here, I'm just going to add them together. That's going to be 20. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's make it 2 points. Sounds fine to me. Next, 14. Ooh, let's go with Janelle. What? Letter what? Oh, you still need to read it. You haven't even read it yet.
Read.
determine which three lengths can be measures of the size of a
Okay, so here's the idea. If we're given the smallest, this is the smallest side, this is the medium side, this is the large side. The two smaller sides have to be greater than the largest side. So for this first one, we would say 10 plus 10, is that greater than 20?
No.
No, so it can't be A. Part B, we would say, let's see, that'd be 5 plus 13, is that greater than
No.
20? Sure isn't. Part C, if we're plugging these things in, we'd say 6 plus 13, is that greater than
No.
20? Surely not. So we know it's got to be D, but let's just check to make sure. If we have 10 plus 11, is that greater than 20? It is, so we're good.
What
The answer
does it
is
say?
D.
What does it say? No, and yes. It's a B.
That's good. It is a multiple choice question, but
I wonder if you want to check the word.
that's good though. Excellent. Worth 1 point. Number 15. Oh, let's go with Nick Patton.
Identify the shortest side of triangle ABC.
Okay. Let's find this angle first. How do you find this angle?
Well, take 64 plus 56.
What's the measure of angle C has to equal what? What are those three angles inside a triangle have to equal? 180. Okay.
Subtract both sides.
So we add these together, we get what? 110, something like that?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? 110 plus this. Is it 110 really? I don't know. It's 120. That makes more sense. Okay. Then what do? Subtract 120 from both sides. Measure of angle C equals 60. So that's 60 right up there. I think that's important. You do need to find that third angle just in case. Okay. Now, the shortest side is always across from the shortest angle, or the smallest angle. What's the smallest angle up here? 56. So I gotta have to figure out how to name this side. How do you name a side? So in this case, like AC, because it's across here, it's the AC. It's across from B. Okay, that's worth 1 point. Basically, just the AC. Make sure they have that line over it. If they don't have it, make sure to write it over there. You need that
I'm so
line.
confused on what you just said.
We found the smallest angle. Shortest side across from the smallest angle.
Okay.
The next one's basically the same thing. Number 16, let's have Andrew Palmer. Andrew Palmer. Largest angle. Which is the largest side?
Side AB.
Yep. It was 9, so the largest angle is going to be across from it. So what's that?
Angle C.
Angle C. So I wrote my angle symbol, and I write C. If they wrote angle ACB or angle BCA, all of those are exactly the same. They all mean angle C. So if any of those three are right, I would probably say most people will say that top thing. Make sure they do have the angle symbol though. It's not wrong if they don't, but it will be on a test. If you just write C, it means actually point C is what it means. Okay? That's right. Number 17. Wow, we're all the way up to Austin Rich. Austin, help us out. Okay, so you can. equals what? Angle equals x. Yeah, 118 equals x. Great job. So again, it's this exterior angle sum thing, but this thing plus this thing has to equal this thing. 1 plus 2 equals 4. So x equals 118.
But how? I thought 54 plus 64 equals 120.
Yeah, how'd you get 118?
Because it's 120. I just did it on
No, no, it's not. No, it's no 118, right? Those are 54s and 64s. You put a 56 or something in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Next one. Let's look at this. This page, honestly, they just need the pictures and the congruency statements. Really quickly, check to make sure these make sense. It's worth 1 point each. This page is worth 4 points. There needs to be 2 triangles in each of these, otherwise it doesn't make sense. So for instance, if they have a triangle that looks like this, triangle looks like this, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, something like this. And then they label it probably with some letters like A, B, C, and then like D, E, F. Then they'd have to say triangle A, B, C is congruent to triangle D, E, F. That's what a congruency statement is as we go along. Nick.
What are they doing for making triangle?
Chris said it right here. That's it.
Then that's the same mark is fine. It's kind of misleading. Is there a congruency statement? What do you mark for that?
That's wrong.
Okay, that's wrong because that's not a congruency statement. This is a congruency statement. So I would say -4 on that page.
So is it right congruency? Is right 2 or what?
Conjunction.
Does yours say conjecture?
They go SSS, SAS, and ASS and AS.
Okay, these are the conjectures right here.
Aces?
These are the statements based on those.
So how many of them?
It's worth 4 points. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. All or nothing on this page. Okay. I realize we don't have a whole lot of time left in class. We have about 5 minutes. And I still need to collect your grades on these. So this is going to be kind of weird. So I'm going to actually have to speed this up just a little tiny bit here. This page, we're going to grade it really fast here. And honestly, I don't want people to miss a whole bunch of points on this. I did 1 point for the conjecture, 1 point for the statement. I think all we're going to grade is the conjecture. Work on your statements. Look online. I'm going to post the solutions. Make sure your statements get to be correct as well. For this first one, this is angle side angle. Your conjecture would be, or your statement would be, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. My way of doing this is basically I name the first triangle in alphabetical order. That's ABC. Okay? I look at A. A has no angle arc, so which one over here has no angle arc?
B.
Well, that's D. That's why D goes first, just like A went first. And then B has 1, so E has 1, so E goes second. C has 2, F has 2, that's why it goes last. You need to match those up. They're not always going to both be in alphabetical order. Okay? So I'm basically going to make this your conjectures are worth 2 points. You can check online to see whether you got the others right. This is side, side, side because you can prove third side is congruent. That's worth 2 points. Can I move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This one would be side angle side worth 2 points. 25 is angle side because you can prove these angles in here. So angle side worth 2 points. Number 26 is also angle side worth 2 points. 27, third one in a row is angle side worth 2 points. We okay?
Yep.
28, guess what? You can prove this side. So that makes this angle side worth 2 points. 29, because these are vertical angles, you can prove these two are congruent. For I think the fifth one in a row is angle side. Pretty heavy. Right, that's worth what, like 16 points on that page?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the last page really fast. for this, your congruency statement is going to be angle, side, angle. Let's make that 1 point. When you name the angles, it's all based on this stuff. It's all based on this stuff. So your sides, all you do is you name the first two, which is the MH. It's congruent to the first two over there, which is TA. Same thing. And then you'd say HT is congruent to the second two, that'd be AM. And I do first and last, so that's MT is congruent to TM. Your angles you just list in order, so that'd be angle, you can't really say just angle M, because you have to say like A, M. Well, here's probably a better way to do this. Let's do it this way. List them in this order. Say angle MHT is congruent to angle TAM. And then just shift one. So you can say angle, we'll just shift the M to the end, so it'd be HTM is congruent to shift one to the end, so it'd be AMT. And then lastly, put the H at the end, so TMH is congruent to MTK. It's hard to read. Here's what I want to do. I want to make this worth 3 points up here, that worth 1 point. And I'm going to call that close enough. Okay, the rest of them are basically the exact same thing on the rest of the page, and I'm not even going to grade the next ones, so that's where we're at. Questions? I think I have 1 or 2. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to count all that are right. All that are right. There should be around 43 of them. I think 43. I want you to just count up all that are right. All that are right. Nope, you can check online. Your test is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be a fast, awesome test. You're going to do great on it as long as you prepare.